Hey, what's up, everyone? We're looking at the Saturday slate for tonight. We have a 9-game slate, so let's get right into it. You can drop a like down below, subscribe if you have not already. Starting off here at point guard, we have LeBron's your most expensive guy at 10-6. It's a back-to-back for the Lakers. LeBron was okay, put up 49.5 fantasy points, couple rebounds shy of a triple-double. It's a back-to-back against a Sacramento team. They're not very good defensively. I think he's okay, but I don't think you need to prioritize him when you have like Trae Young cheaper than him. Damian Lillard's been on an absolute tear at 10-2. The price tag is up there. You're always going to have to make a decision now, but he's been playing out of his mind lately, carrying the team. And if Carmelo's out again, he could be able to make value even at that expensive price. But I'm looking at some cheaper options here like De'Aaron Fox. I like him at 8,000. I like the Kings whenever they're at home. Fox has been much better at home this year. His minutes are pretty secure. Played 35 in a blowout. He's basically getting 37 minutes in close games. Has huge upside, like 60-point upside at an $8,000 price is something we don't see very often. But a guy like him has been great getting steals. Been great on the defensive end in terms of those categories. And he has a pretty high assist rate as well. I like Fox tonight at 8,000. And I like Mitchell a little bit at 7,000. Just the price tag is nice for him. He is coming off of one of his worst games, 1 of 12 from the field. I think he's going to bounce back, and it is a much better matchup against a Portland defense. So Mitchell looks good as a bounce back candidate, and I don't mind McCollum or Brogdon either, especially McCollum at 68 if Carmelo's out again. And that's pretty much where I'm looking at the top. If you're going cheap, you could take a shot on Draymond. And Brunson looks okay, especially if J.J. Barea should rest on him back-to-back. I don't think he normally plays back-to-backs very often. So Draftkings did a good job of pricing Brunson up. But there's still some upside left at a $5,300 price, assuming he starts. Right now, lock in De'Aaron Fox at 8,000. Over at shooting guard, Bradley Beal at 99. The DraftKings did a quick job of pricing him up now that his minutes are back up. It's not a slam dunk of a play at this price. He's a decent option, but it's not something that is looking like is jumping off the page just because you basically need 60 fantasy points at 9,900. Like I said, I like Donovan Mitchell at 7,000. I just like the price tag on him. He's not been 7K very often. Even though he struggled, he's still going to get the minutes. And before that, he was coming off one of his best stretches, just in terms of scoring, lots of 20-point games overall, and should be able to bounce back against Portland here. They're not a very good defense. So I like Mitchell to bounce back at 7,000. Small forward, it's going to be DeRozan if Aldridge misses again. I don't know why Tatum is so much cheaper than Hayward. That should not be the case. Tatum's been the much better player this year and more consistent player. So if you're going anywhere, it would be for Jason Tatum at just 7,100. But assuming he's not on a minutes limit again tonight. And then for some cheap options, there's not a lot at this position that stands out, except DeAndre Hunter is questionable. If he's out, then should open up more minutes for Cam Reddish. His price tag is pretty down to 4,200. It's cheaper, a couple $100 cheaper than it was, and they're still dealing with some injuries. Fernando is questionable. If he's out, it's also the type of game where Dallas, they start Porzingis at the 5, so there's a chance that Reddish and Hunter would start alongside each other in the front court. So I think he's still a good play. If Hunter's out, then we'll see well over 30 minutes. Probably could get like 35, 36 minutes if that's the case. And it seems like he has a good game following a bad game. So had a bad game last time out, can follow it up with a good game here at just 4,200. Not a lot of value left. He's the type of player that if there is more value on the slate, he just doesn't become really a core play anymore. At power forward, I'm looking at like Collins. If he starts at center tonight, would be pretty interesting at 8,000. And Anthony Davis is so cheap at 9,300. It's a back-to-back for the Lakers, but should be able to have a huge advantage here in this matchup against the Kings. He did play really hard last night, so don't know if he's going to be a little bit fatigued, but still 9,300 is a really nice price tag for anybody, especially for a guy like Anthony Davis. going to go back to Kristaps, just insane usage rate without Luka Doncic. Had a big time showing, 56 fantasy points, 6,800. He's still at a really cheap price point, should be over 8,000 easily without Luka for the next couple weeks. So especially against the Hawks, it's just too easy of a matchup for him not to be looked at heavily tonight. At center, there's quite a bit of options I like. It's Anthony Davis, 93, Rudy Gobert, 84, and then Whiteside is looking pretty good at just 8,100. And you could take a shot on Thomas Bryant if he starts tonight. Played well once again. Off the bench last time out, he's going to get into the starting lineup regularly very soon. If he's in there tonight, it would be a pretty appealing option, but I like Whiteside. He shouldn't be 8,100. Against this Utah team, they are going to need his size out there to defend. Rudy Gobert is a good defender, but whenever he's at this price tag, I'm going to be interested. He just is a point per minute monster, playing 34 to 30, like 6 minutes in some of these games, and it's the type of matchup where this game really shouldn't go small unless he's in foul trouble or something like that. So they don't really have anybody else to put on a guy like Gobert. So I like Whiteside a lot at this price point at home. And then a cheap value play that I like here is the Knicks are a little bit shorthanded tonight. So that's going to open up, at the point guard position, though, it's going to open up a lot of minutes for Frank Ntilikina at just 3,400. Is looking like a pretty good play. Should start tonight. He's been the backup to Elfrid Payton over the past couple months, so he should start, and then Dennis Smith should see some minutes off the bench, some backup minutes, so you'll probably see like 15. I'm not expecting 35 minutes out of Ntilikina, but I think he can get you like 28 to 30, and Dennis Smith will pick up the rest. So that's Draftkings look. Fanduel, pretty similar here. Damian Lillard is still just been out of his mind, playing out of his mind. He looks fine here at 10-2, especially with not a lot of other pay-up options. It's him and really Trae Young if you're paying up. Irving went bonkers last night. Couldn't miss a shot. 54 points overall. 66.5 fantasy points. Now he gets a date with Washington. He also looks pretty appealing. But once again, I like Fox on both sides. He's just cheap, especially on FanDuel. 7,900 shouldn't really be his price. He should be much more expensive than that. Just considering the amount of upside he has, and he's really good at getting steals and blocks, and you get those extra points over on FanDuel for those. So once again, I want to build around Fox at the point guard position. At shooting guard, it's going to be D'Angelo Russell. Looks really, really good. 7,600 against Cleveland. We've seen guards absolutely destroy this Cleveland defense, and it looks like Russell will have his opportunity tonight. And then I like Devontae Graham at 66. And Marcus Smart, if Kemba's out tonight, would open up a lot more minutes for him. It would also make some of the other Celtics more appealing, who we'll get to. And I would say that if you wanted to punt, there's not a lot that looks really good right now. We'll see if something more opens up throughout the day. But right now I like, and maybe $4,600 for Kevin Huerter looks okay as a cheap option. But right now it's tough for me to get away from 76 for D'Angelo Russell against Cleveland. They are just so bad defensively. We've seen Zach LaVine and some other guys absolutely carve them up. So I feel like D'Angelo Russell's going to go off tonight. Small forward, it is definitely one of these. Celtics look good, especially if Kemba's out tonight. Both are pretty good at plays at their prices. And then you have a cheap price for Tim Hardaway, under 5,000. And you could go with Cam Reddish again if Hunter's out tonight. And Rudy Gay, if Aldridge is out, is only 3,900. But right now I think either one of these two look pretty good. Maybe Jaylen Brown, 6,400. Really good price point. Only played 26 minutes. They didn't really need him out there in the last game. It was a blowout. Kind of got out of hand late. So if Kemba's out tonight, just going to open up more usage, more ball handling responsibilities for a guy like Jaylen Brown, and he is very, very cheap on FanDuel. At power forward, it's going to be Sabonis at 84, looks good. Collins, 76, and Tatum, they all look good. But really, Kristaps is going to be my guy once again. At 7,200, it's tough to get away from a guy against the Hawks with just the amount of opportunity he's going to have tonight. And other plays I like are not a ton here. Maybe like B. Jelly kind of cooled off, but they're really going to need some size against the Lakers tonight. He could be interesting. Nobody's going to play him either, so it will be a nice low-owned play. There's no really value I like at this position right now, so I kind of do think I'm going to be spending up. And then over at center, I like Vucevic, Whiteside, some of the main ones. And then for cheap, if Bryant is in the starting lineup, you could look there. But really, Vucevic looks good just because on Draftkings he's more expensive than Gobert, more expensive than Whiteside. And then on Fanduel, only 8,100 is just really, really cheap. It's not an easy matchup against Miami, but he's been fine against them this year. And they're going to need him. He's at home as well, so he plays good minutes. And if this game is close, it's going to be because of a guy like Vucevic putting in the work. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Drop a like if you enjoyed, and good luck tonight.